This double game week was bigger than my undying hatred for the Pep Roulette. But guess what? It's all about to happen again this week. Oh dear. But welcome to the Game Week 27 Players to Watch. This is the series where I have a little bit of a scout, I have a little bit of a browse, and try and find the best ever players for you to whap into your team, and players that could potentially be your next sexy FPL transfer. Where the gigantic Double Gameweek 26 may not be over yet, but it doesn't mean we can spin some jaws now and look at our potential moves for next week already. Where yet again, Man City have another double, so we are definitely jumping onto that one. But before we look at the players, let's first talk about the sponsor for today, OneFootball. OneFootball is the all-in-one football app that every football fan will enjoy, where it does a ton of amazing great features which I use all of the time. These including keeping me up to date with all of the latest football news from around the world, but you know what, I also use it to help me with FPL and the watch list here. Ooh. As you can check out player stats filtered by different competitions, but also check out recent team performances to see who's doing well, and also to see what teams you really need to target. All of that great stuff to help you with FPL, but also fill you with all of that football knowledge. So if you like what you see, you can click on the link at the top of the video description to download for free today. That's OneFootball, free to get right now. And right now, it's time to scout some boysies for the slightly smaller Double Game Week 27, where yet again, Man City have another double. Greedy bastards they are, aren't they? You're like, what? Making them all the best double trouble players we should probably go for this week. But then also, Southampton also double this week, but maybe you should pretend they don't have a double. As you know, they are proper wibbly wobbly right now. Probably stay away from them. And their double game is against Man City. So it really isn't a double, is it? Terrible behaviour, lads. Stay away from them. But with that said, the first team to join us, and you know what, the majority of the talking points of this video today, it is the Man City boysies with these, where I've highlighted Kevin De Bruyne. Sorry. Kevin De Bruyne! Kevin, the shut up, bacon. The Gunda Goat, Gundawan, and Ruben Diaz. Ruben D's nuts. Oh, comedy. I'm so funny. Shut up. But you know what? With a Man City, we have a few other players that could be in there instead. We got a Raheem Sterling, a Gabriel Jesus, a Sergio Aguero, a Riyad Mahrez, a Bernardo Silva, a Phil Foden, a Ferran Torres, and even the local bin man. Yeah, that's right. They've literally employed every single attacker possible in the world out there. So, there's quite a lot of options. Which, is usually a good thing for the football club. They can always play the best players, make sure everyone's fresh. But for FPL, that is literally the worst thing in the entire world, as you all know from Pep Roulette, and it's just not very good at all, is it? As you know, the main criteria for a great double game week player is the fact that they actually play both games. But with Man City, it never looks like the case that any of them will ever play 2 games in a row. You're just always not sure. And take someone like Foden, who didn't even start any of his last 3 games. And he's that good. What? But maybe, baby, there are actually some players that are a bit more nailed, or at least worth it to go for the double. And those 3 fellas are these, where Diaz has actually only missed 1 league game so far since he's come in, and that was actually just after he was recovering from a slight small illness. So he could actually play every game. Gundogan has actually not started only in a couple games in his last 15 or so, just because he turned into the most clinical player in the world, so he's getting a lot more minutes now. And then the one and only Kevin De Bruyne is just quite good at football, apparently, isn't he? Fair play to him. Where he somehow managed to get 10 points in this double game week, just gone, but he only got 1 assist. How did he manage that? I swear some people get goals and all the bonus and still don't get that. Okay then. And you know what? It's just because he's a proper FPL point magnet, exactly what you need in your double game week. Hey. So realistically, I think the best ones to go for this week, and potentially the best captain, are actually one of these 3. But also maybe like a Stones or Foden could be this week because they didn't play in the last game, maybe. But out with these, Diaz for the nailness and, guaranteed to play, you'd hope. You watch now, people get him in for this week, and this is the 1 week he misses a game, you never know. And then Gundogan and the De Bruyne, just for the fact that they can easily go and score the 100 points in 1 game as they're just that good, they're that attacking, get them in. But you know what? The actual safest captain out of any of them this week is actually none of these, and it is actually the one player that has actually had an assist this year as well. And that player is their goalkeeper, Ederson. That's right, a goalkeeper that sometimes gets assists, and he keeps all of these clean sheets, and he plays every single game. He could actually be the best captain. Genuinely not a bad shout. I myself wouldn't get him in over Martinez, but not a bad option at all, is he? And yeah, I did just say that. I am being a cheeky scrub right now, but honestly, it could be. But if you do only have 2 City players in your team right now, I think, you should probably change that, and I still think it's very much worth it going for one of them this week. Because even if they only play one game, they are the best and most consistent team in the league. Literally, like, is it 21 or 22 wins in a row? Oh wow. So if you had to bring in one, I would say Diaz if you want another defender. But if you want to risk it for a biscuit with someone that you might want to potentially captain, get in a De Bruyne, get in a Gundogan, get in a Sterling. One of them is surely going to get all of the goals this week. I'm actually going for Gundogan myself, so hopefully all the points. So hey, making them all players to watch and players to buy for this week. But the next player to join us, and potentially the best ever player you may ever sign this year in FPL. And yeah, hang on, let me grab my knee, because this is a proper knee-jerky one, this is, because that player is the one and only Gareth Bale. Now, the sexy golfer here hasn't actually had that many starts at all this season, has he? But he went and performed some proper Welsh magic in his last game against the Brexit Burnley, as he scored 2 goals and got an assist as well. Well, you know what? He also got an assist in the game before where he didn't even start as well, so he's in proper form. I think you could arguably say the best form of the entire season for him. Not that hard when you only play like 3 games a year, isn't it? But But this week, he plays against a current, very poor Palace team that can actually sometimes concede all of the golassos. But some of you pessimistic folks out there will probably say, nah, behave, get him away from me. As you know, he is a 9.3 million player who is only slightly less than the much more nailed Son, who has also been playing pretty well as well. So is he really worth the risk of the low minutes and not the guaranteed nuts that, he'll actually do anything as well? I'm not quite sure. But the good thing is, he actually has another game before the next game week. Hey! So maybe in that game, that can be a final scouting session. And, if he doesn't play any minutes, you're probably like, okay, I don't want to risk a player that's not going to play. But if he starts and does very well again and gets taken off early, maybe get him in. Now, at his price, you're probably like, it's not really worth it. But he's just shown you what he can actually do in a game week. And at only 1% owned, he is literally one of the best differentials we're going to get at all this season. He could very well be worth it. Making him a player to watch and potentially a player to buy this week. But the next player and the next gentleman to join us is actually the walking protein shake man. And actually, no, it's not Adama Traore. It is Michael Antonio! Antonio! Will he be an Antony? Yes. Not an Antony, no. Now, some of you, you will say, hang on, this is a proper wibbly-wobbly suggestion here. What are you even on about? But you know what? He's actually been pretty damn consistent since coming back from his injury lately, as he's got 7 FPL returns in his last 8 games. Not amazing, but he's actually played the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Spursy, and quite a lot of hard teams recently. So it's actually not that bad at all. And the same could potentially be said about his next few fixtures as well, but that's actually probably more up for debate, as he plays against a Leeds United at home next, who, can quite often ship a lot of goals. So all of the points, right? And then he plays a Man United team that, can be a bit wobbled sometimes and can concede a few as well. But more importantly, he actually does play in that blank game week 29, which could be very, very important if you haven't got players ready for that. Where don't forget, only 4 games will be happening in game week 29, so you need to make sure you're really prepared for that one. And it might be a very good idea to just focus literally your next 3 weeks of transfers for that game week. But obviously you still want players that have good fixtures now, which is why Antonio against Leeds this week could be very good for that. And you might think, nah, that's not quite tickling my pickle. But the likes of Calvert-Lewin play Chelsea. There's some other players against hard fixtures as well. So, a decent fixture this week, and he has that extra fixture in Game Week 29. Just think about it, alright. Which is why he is joining the watch list this week and the next watch list player, But the final player to join us today, on the quite short watch list today, isn't it, apparently? Oh, sorry, slacking I am, boys, I apologise. But the lucky gentleman to be our last today is Kieran Tierney. Now, Tierney hasn't quite shown us his potential so far, has he? Mainly because Arsenal are absolute trash sometimes, But now, recently, they've actually been playing quite alright, scoring a few more goals recently, and also keeping a few of those clean sheets as well. But I did want to whap Tierney on the list here, because, he's a very attacking fullback, who has just come back from injury, so not a lot of people have him. But also, I feel like he's probably nailed to play all the next few games. Where his next few games actually include him playing against Burnley this week, a Brexit Burnley that struggled to score any goals at all recently. So, he could well get a lot of points there. Clean sheet guaranteed, potential attacking returns as well. But the main boy reason he is here is because he also plays in that blank game week 29, where I feel like Arsenal will actually be one of the lowest owned teams going into that blank. So it might not actually be the worst of ideas to get some kind of cover, and to have a very attacking defender who, you know, can get points either side of the pitch could be very good if you only want one of their players in, you know. He is probably who I would go for. And, you know, he's a decent option for now. Burnley next, all of the points. Plays in the blank, all of the points as well, and all of that great stuff. Which is why he has finished off the watch list here, being our final player to watch this week. And that is it for the Game Week 27 Watchy List list. You know, it's more of a reminder, it's not too late to get those City players in, even if they only play one. Still the best team in the league, get them in. But then also another reminder to prepare for that blank Game Week 29. Where especially if you still got your wildcard, completely go for that one, dead end your team for that one, and you can wildcard straight after that, and you will get all of the points soon. So thanks for watching, and remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.